the gym right now to get my powerlifting training in, and then hopefully I'll have time to hit the heavy bag in the cardio room before there's a yoga class that starts.
Alright, so I like to start off working my single shots. This way I can work on dialing certain things in, like making sure that my wrists are nice and tight, and I'm landing flush with the correct knuckles, and I'm stiffening up on impact, things like that. So I'm just working my jab and cross here, making sure I'm working and loading off the appropriate leg. Working my lead hooks here, again loading that lead leg and getting that nice east to west twist of the upper body, driving off the legs to get that power. Working my rear hook here, again loading that rear leg. Right here, so I'm just trying to get comfortable with hitting the bag. Again, just making sure things are landing nice and crisp, getting hooks off the lead and the rear, putting in some combinations here. Again, just getting comfortable with the bag. After I feel like my single shots are clicking, I'll go ahead and pick a set combination that I want to work on. So here I'm working the jab, cross, lead hook to the body. Each punch sets up the next. So if you'll notice, I have a slight tilt out to my left when throwing that cross. It helps with the power, but it really sets up the body shot by putting the shoulders on a 45-degree angle. It also takes my head off the line, and it's not waiting for my opponent's counter shot. It's all about positioning. It plays a huge role in boxing. So here, I'm being a little more dynamic with my setup. I'm moving my head off to the left while I throw that jab, using it to blind my opponent from the incoming power shot, which is that rear hook. Then I followed up with that lead hook to the body. Once again, I'm getting my shoulders off in that 45-degree angle, as you'll see right there, the 45-degree angle. Again, a little head movement, off to the left, blind the opponent, let the power shot come in, and then finish off with that body shot. Just working my hooks again here a little bit. Now I'm switching and using that same principle off the cross, using it to cover my opponent's vision long enough for me to launch that lead hook to the head, and then finishing up with the rear body shot. And I put a kick in for good measure. And here I'm opening up a little bit more here. Just put that switch step in there, ended up into southpaw to gain that angle for those body shots. Working the jab, just kind of putting my head off to the side, working the jab from different angles, being a little bit more crafty when I'm coming in. Set up my lead hook there with that jab. So working lighter to harder punches here. A little bit of a Philly shell with shoulder roll into a cross hook there. And here we see that same combination that I worked earlier. And jab the body, jab the head, classic combo there. And I'm sticking that cross there, hiding that switch step. And then I switch back to the orthodox lead after that. So I also refer to that as the custom auto shift. Tyson, well, I love watching Tyson, he's inspired me a lot. Now I'm working some bare knuckle. Again, I like to start off with squaring away my single shots first. Got to be a little bit more cognizant of keeping everything nice and tight. I'm not trying to go too hard here because I'm not wrapping up. Honestly, I never wrap up when I hit the bag. That's just me. I'm getting into some leg kicks here. The reason I put my lead hand out like that, I'm trying to get a bit of a shoulder turn. It's also a blinding shot, you know. Throw a jab before you throw a low kick. I'm exaggerating the body turn, really getting my rear shoulder to turn through and letting my leg trail behind, like any kind of power shot. The weapon is always the last thing to move if you really want power to come out. Little oblique kick right there, I find them quite useful. Again, I'm really trying to work on the upper body turn and to let the leg flow naturally behind it and just get that heavy shot in. I'm I'm not trying to kick the bag particularly too hard. I'm really trying to get some weight in the leg and just let the technique do the job itself rather than me trying to force it. Nice little teep there. Rear leg teep. That's kind of how a lot of my bag work goes actually. I'm trying to let the technique do all the work. Again, working the heaviness of that tie kick here, really putting the hip through like a baseball bat swing. Little fake low and kick high, a little tricky kick there. Looks like I wanted to work in that custom auto, that little shift step off to the outside there. I want to put it into play now, so I'm trying to get a feel for it. So I'm throwing in a lot of jab and crosses, just standing my ground. And moving my head there, putting in a little bit of defense with those jab and crosses. Oh, there it goes. I got a feel for that shift that I wanted to put in there at the right time. Oh, it looks like I added an uppercut in there that time. Here I am working some covers. Some crash in the line a little bit, some elbows there. Again, always making sure I'm turning, getting that east to west turn. Another crash right there with the lead elbow. Yeah, working a jab cross off that cover. Right there, I'm working a little Philly shell defense. Covering from the cross with that lead shoulder there. Covering from the hook to the head of the body with that rear arm. Before I release that rear cross back into it. Again, working that nice little shift step there. You see Tyson and Lomachenko do this a lot. Again, a couple of my favorite fighters. I'm inspired a lot by those two. I'm letting the punches go here a little bit. Here's a little tip on hitting the heavy bag that I don't hear too often. You want to have short contact time with the bag in your hand. It really helps you from pushing it with your punches. There's a nice little shoulder bump in there, followed by the lead hook. Now I'm getting in tight with my with the bag there, kind of working an unattached clinch position, kind of leaning in with my shoulders. What I do is bump with my shoulder so I can make some space and sneak in those short uppercuts, kind of let them come through. Again, you'll notice my hand has a very short contact time with the bag. See there, sometimes I'll stick a punch in there like that cross and I'll leave it in for a few seconds. It's typically used to blind the opponent so I can set up like that shift that I've been doing all the time. You'll notice I'm coming from a flat-footed position. It's something that I've really been working on a lot lately. I can really feel the difference in the power and being flat-footed and balance-wise too. It's tripping me up a little bit for movement though. It's why I'm not moving so much on the bag. Normally I move a lot more. But because I'm really concentrating on that flat foot position and my stance, it's quite a bit different than I've been used to. I'm working on various jabs here. As you can see, I'm trying to come in from multiple angles, just working that lead hand a lot. This doubles as a good defense too, because I'm always giving my opponents different looks, so to speak. I'm also working in light to hard, and as you can see right there, those heavy penetrating punches as well. You'll see right there that I didn't actually hit with that cross. It was more of a fake before I came up with that heavy lead hook. Again, always leaning out onto my lead leg, getting that tilt before I put in those hooks to the body or the head. I'm letting my hands go here, still holding my ground a little bit, really trying to work that stance. And once I start moving too much, I kind of revert back to my old stance. I'm not really wanting to work that right now. I really dig mixing in the uppercut and hooks. It's a great combo when you're in tight with the opponent. Watch when I throw my right hand here. You can really see that slight tilt off to the left. It really helps with driving in that power. This is a great angle here. You can see how my head is always popping off to the side. You can see the turn in my shoulders. You can see that drop of my lead shoulder to get that lead body shot in. You can see the drop of my rear shoulder to get that rear body shot in. For me, when I spar, a lot of my defense comes from my head movement. There's a little elbow check. It's kind of a trap of sorts. When I'm stepping in, I like to do that. I'm starting to move a lot more now. I'm moving around the bag. It's pretty much what you want to get to, moving in and out with the bag, working with it, not trying to stop it every time it moves. And now I'm putting into some knees just to finish off the workout. Holding the bag up top is just to kind of simulate clinch with the neck, but obviously the bag's too big for that, so.
Haven't hit the heavy bag in a while. Just started it up about a few months ago. So I'm hitting it about every once a month, twice a month, if I'm lucky. You're welcome. Anyway, on my way home after my powerlifting training, and then a heavy bag workout for about 45 minutes, and so about an hour and a half powerlifting, then 45 minutes of heavy bag. I'm pretty good. Time to eat.